Hello and welcome to Fat Loss for Beginners Part 2. So if you haven't seen Part 1, obviously go watch that. Also go watch macros and understanding macros. So let's get started. So let's recap about the last one. The last moral of the story is calories are king for weight loss. You cannot out-train your diet. So the learning objectives is understand the practical methods of fat loss. In the first webinar, we talked about the theory, the underlying principles. How are we going to apply that so we can be successful in our fat loss journey? So this is probably the most important slide. This is the thing I want you to get into your head, that structure equals success. If you don't have a routine, you won't succeed. And what I mean by that is when I start working with a client and I kind of drill into what their week looks like, it looks something like this, like Monday, no breakfast in a rush, massive lunch on the go, pack of crisps maybe, after work beers. Wednesday, woke up late, just have a Nando and a fizzy drinks, and then it's the weekend, so bah! And then Sunday, lads, and you know, it's a weekend, so it doesn't count, it falls asleep. Everything I tell you about fat loss doesn't matter if you do not have structure to the way you eat. End of story. Finish the webinar. So when someone has more structure, this is what I mean. They have breakfast, whether they like it or not, and it comes from a choice of 1 to 6 delicious, satisfying breakfasts. Same for lunch. They have a sensible snack. They have a dinner. Yes, they can eat out, and yes, they can have a takeaway, but there is structure to it, and that's the first thing that needs to be established before anything else when you want to lose body fat. So step one, this is what I do with my clients, this is the practical application, is we open up Google Calendar and we map out what your week looks like. We put your work in there, we put your training sessions in there, and we put when you're going to eat in there that is realistic for you. Are you at home? Do you have access to a microwave? Do you have to eat out? This is step number one because it does two things. It seems kind of obvious. The more planning we do and more clarity we have, the more bandwidth it frees up in your head so things don't become overwhelming. It has a huge psychological advantage. Step number two, we build a shopping list. So, okay, you've got the meals you want to eat. We establish that together as client and coach. Then you are furnished with a shopping list. If you buy the same things all week and you know what to buy, you will stay on track because you have structure, okay? You see where I'm going with this. Step three, look, now you have a routine. You know when you're going to eat, you know what you're going to eat, you've got all the stuff you need. You just take away a little bit of food. The point is, people try to jump to step three before they've done step 1 and 2. Make sure you know when you're going to eat, roughly, no need to be super anal about it. Understand you know what to buy, understand you know what to make, and then it's easy, but you have to put the work in beforehand. Now, step 4, you don't have to do these to lose weight. You don't, but you can. One of them is increase your step count. We all know steps are extra good, so increase steps, that's what I do with my clients, or increase low intensity cardio. Specifically low intensity is what I mean, is what we call zone 2. So it's around 130 to 130 beats per minute and is at what we call conversational pace. It's not going to burn, one session isn't going to burn a lot of calories, but over the course of a week, at the end of your resistance training sessions, you add 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. It will accumulate and it will push you further into a calorie deficit. How much cardio you're going to have to do is individually dependent and is dependent on where you are in your diet. How many steps you're going to do is individually dependent and it's going to depend on where you are in your diet. So the truth, okay, it's why you came here. There are no specific foods that you have to eat, okay, to lose weight. There aren't any weight loss foods. Just specific calorie and macro targets. You're going to eat what fits and works for you. Some people love to eat 100% clean, they get results. Some people like to eat a little bit of junk food, and they also get results because they don't want to be without chocolate for an entire week. That is fine, but the principle remains the same. You need structure, and you need routine, and you need to go through the exercise with a coach to establish that structure and routine. That will get you results. Hunger, like when you diet, hunger does happen, okay? It probably shouldn't happen for the first month, but it is going to happen. And there are certain tricks of the trade that we use. So high protein, okay? Protein is more satiating. This means it's more filling, okay? Eat low fat foods. Fat isn't bad, but it is calorie dense. Eat whole foods, okay? High fiber, so lots of vegetables. Drink water, and again, lots of fruit and veg. We want high volume food that takes up a large portion of the plate, but doesn't have a lot of calories in. Like 100 grams of courgette is going to be like 50 calories. 100 grams of chocolate is going to be like 400 calories, but the chocolate's only going to take up this much space in your stomach. So the types of meals you will be eating on a fat loss diet are going to be delicious. There's no need to have boring food. I will provide recipes, and I will provide an example meal plan as well, so you just have a bit of inspiration. But most of the meals you're going to eat are going to be high in protein, low in fat, with whole foods which are high in fiber. Okay, that's the fundamental structure. Within that, you can be quite creative. Use spices and salts. Okay, types of foods and meals. Again, I'm just going to put an example meal plan at the end of this, and I'm going to post up a few meal plans, because I'm not going to sit here and be really, I've got to eat this exact thing at this exact time. It's not how it works. You can play within the rules. You just need to know what the rules are and have it well organized. So for example, some overnight oats, one of my favorites to go through, some low fat yogurt and fruit, a steak and some potatoes. You're going to be eating, nutritious whole foods a lot of the time. So another thing I want to mention is that if you want to successfully lose fat, sleep and stress need to be in a good place. If you are not sleeping well or taking your sleep seriously, don't expect to lose weight, because sleep regulates your appetite and your cravings. If you're craving a lot of sugary, junky food, chances are you haven't slept very well. And the same for stress. I think we all know this. Stress causes cortisol increases, and the way our body likes to get rid of cortisol is through insulin, and insulin is the thing that's going to make you crave sugary stuff. So addressing sleep and stress issues early on will put you in a successful place for fat loss. So hacks, okay? What can we do to make this whole process more practical and more easy? You can pre-cook meals, so you can buy them. I will put up a recommended list that fulfill all the criteria we just talked about: high protein, low calorie, high fiber. You can prep your food in advance. I have a few clients that do that. Recipe books, healthy recipe books to give you some inspiration. There are meal prep companies that will drop off these healthy meals to your house, and you just pay them simply, and all the macros and calories are tailored to you. And also knowing where to eat out. So if you are, you come back on, it's Friday, you're tired, you've had a tough week, you can just order a Nando's, and those are good macros and calories. So the process, so if I'm working with a client, this is what we do. Step number 1, we build a regular eating habit through scheduling. Step number 2, we create a list of 2 to 3 meals you enjoy for breakfast, breakfast, lunch and dinner. We start with a small amount because it makes it more realistic to achieve. Once we've established that, we can add more. We need to build a weekly shopping list that you stick to. Number 4, adjust and refine. And number 5, we remove some food. Number 6, we ensure sleep and stress are in the right place. So building out a timeline for a client. So usually this isn't an easy process. This takes a bit of time. It takes sometimes 6 weeks to a month. So build a regular eating habit, 1 to 2 weeks. Create a list of 2 to 3 meals you enjoy for breakfast, lunch and dinner. That's quite easy. Build a weekly shopping list that you stick to. That might take a week. Adjust and refine. Maybe another week. Remove some food, 3 or 4, 5 days. And then ensure sleep and stress are in the right place. That might take 2 to 3 weeks. So we've got this process we go through to make sure we have the structure in place. Once we have that structure in place and we've gone through the process and the exercise, it's actually quite easy. But again, people tend to skip all of this and go straight to something extreme like remove carbs or low fat or juicing or intermittent fasting, when really they just need to go through this quite mundane, rigorous process to establish more of a routine. Right, these are some results that I got with some of my lovely clients, the few of them that decided to listen to me. If you are interested in taking your physique, fat loss and muscle building to a next level, please book in with a call and I guarantee results. Okay, bye.